Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back. I'm Jose Cruz. This is Literacy for All Radio. We're on WS Radio, and we're talking to Jabez LeBret, and he's the chief of schools at Sisu Academy. In this segment, Jabez, we want to learn maybe just a little bit more about what happens at your school and your program that is different from what you see in other school settings.
This is one of my favorite topics.
Oh, good.
I love talking about
Let's see, man, I'm putting this guy on the spot.
What is, we ended the last segment talking about, we have all these jobs that we don't know about. Mm-hmm. So how are we going to prepare our kids for the future? And I think part of that means kind of unwinding some of the structure that we built into the system. As you know,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody listening, the real world is not math class at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. That's just not how it works, and learning doesn't necessarily always work best in that environment either. So for our students, things are rather personalized, and so their schedules meet them where they're at developmentally, meet them where they're at emotionally and socially. A day in the life of the student, if you will, would involve waking up and, breakfast, and our day starts a little bit later. Most of the research says you shouldn't be starting at 7 a.m.
Right. But I want to talk about that too, or I want you to talk about it. But already, and I think, let's just not assume person's getting up in a bed or out of a bed, and they're getting breakfast. Mm-hmm. All right? So that's a great start.
That's a big step. Yes. It is. It's super important, right?
Yeah.
And so we're trying to meet, like we talked about, those fundamental needs as well. But their schedule for their day could include a few hours on a project that they've been working on with a team of other students. Mm-hmm. It could be an experiential learning moment where they're going to go out in the field and do some learning. It could be some tutoring. Maybe they're trying to catch up on something and they need some more attention.
Yeah.
It could be speech class or cooking class or financial literacy class where they're learning in groups, or they're taking a field trip to another school to go teach. We want our students to go out and teach financial literacy to middle schoolers as high school students to kind of that peer-to-peer mentoring.
Yeah.
So you can see kind of a little bit more of a fluid environment than you would find in a traditional bell-to-bell schedule Monday through Friday.
Very good. It sounds like fun because you're in your home, your school, with the students you're with. You get to know the teachers and a program that's going to be creative and interesting and interactive.
If you talk about wanting to create, quote, lifelong learners, nothing does that better than getting them passionate and interested in the activity of learning. And that's really what this environment is for, is to help create a space for them to become passionate about learning, because we're meeting their needs and we're providing them opportunity. Now, we're a boarding school, so we have 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And that is a huge advantage when it comes to being able to structure the educational time, because we just have more time to really build different things into the system. And so we can afford the time to do all of the financial literacy and all the social emotional work and all of the tutoring and all of the extra components, and still not lose out on that kind of quote-unquote core curriculum or that bedrock stuff that we want to make sure that they learn before they leave the institution.
So what happens on weekends? Is it like another day, or is it more recreational? Or
yeah, it's a blend. It really depends, right? So certainly we have field trips, and we want to make sure that they're getting some downtime as well, but we also want to make sure that we're sneaking in the learning where we can. Yeah. And so if you can imagine, a trip to the beach could include some marine biology or some history or something like theater. They could do a pop-up theater at the beach, so you can still do activities and still have learning happen at the same time.
Very good. Now, I know when you and I talked, we hadn't talked so much about what you're doing being for teen girls. So why did you make the change? How did that change happen?
We've been having this conversation for years about whether we were going to be mixed gender, and we still believe there's a large need for the young men in this county, in this city. But we understand that the need for young women is greater. So they're a more vulnerable population. They make up 56% of the disconnected youth bandwidth. And so there is the data showing a larger need for young women. And so we're going to start as young women with the intent of eventually growing into having a boys program as well.
Very good. Now, I know you're still moving towards your full vision of having a facility Right now, as I understand, you're working in Malcolm X Library, which is a real community of need. They call it the Diamond Community, and it's only not because there's diamonds, but because it's shaped like a diamond. I don't know if you knew that. But how far along, if you could say, just given the roadmap that you have for fulfilling your vision, how far along are you, and what's your timeline?
Yeah, we're still interviewing students for our first cohort. And so we're doing something very unique, which is we're bringing in 8th grade girls right now to help us finish the planning. And our first freshman class will start in September. And that's why we were able to partner up with the Malcolm X Library through their innovation lab there, the Ben Bow Innovation Lab. Super gracious to all those folks over there for letting us have a facility to be able to kind of help bring in this group of students, to bring the student voice into the planning process. And then we'll add, so we're expecting about 25 total to be fully enrolled with us by the time about February rolls around. And then we have 50 more freshman girls that we're going to add to the first freshman class of 75 students in September.
So how are you finding your students?
On the ground work. So reaching out to counselors and teachers and parents and community organizers and churches and just saying, hey, do you know a family or do you have a student who you think might benefit from maybe a little bit more support or an alternate educational environment where they have the chance to be able to really get those wraparound services and that attention that they may need. And then we've just been connecting with the parents from there.
So that's working. That's working. And
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, and I think I kind of meant to say that it would be the outreach to the agencies and the counselors, as well as having a conversation with the families and the students themselves. Do you get any resistance or from families that here's a person to be perfect for our program? Mom and dad are like, man, I'm not really crazy about this.
Sure. I mean, it depends, right? For some families, the idea of sending their student to boarding school, even if that boarding school is only 10 miles away, is a big commitment, maybe more than they're able to bite off. For some students, that's just not the right fit for them, and that's okay. We're not suggesting our program is perfect for everybody or every family, and certainly understand that there are a lot of considerations. For some parents, they understand that the advantage that they're getting by sending their daughter to this program is more than they could possibly imagine was going to be available. And that sometimes can make that decision, although maybe a little challenging, to shuffle up the family dynamic a tad. Luckily, the school's not really far. Yeah. And so it's not like the student never goes home. It's not like the family never comes onto campus. It's not like we're not back out in the community. And so this is a community school for San Diego County students. And our intent is to make sure that we maintain a strong family unit and not really create barriers there between those dynamics.
Got it. And I know people are listening. It's like, well, how much does this cost? Or do you have to turn people down? Or do you have a sliding scale? How can, I want to send my child to I want to send my kid away or send them to a boarding school or a place where I know they're going to be in a learning environment, immersed in a learning environment versus maybe what might be happening in the home or in the community. How accessible is that to like the most needy family?
Our dedication from the beginning was to ensure that we were providing access for people regardless of whether they could afford it, but based off of need. And that need is the student's need, the student that needs this kind of program, not financial need, but their emotional and their educational needs. And because of that, we know that most of the students that would be perfect for our program probably don't have a lot of resources to be able to allocate towards extra dollars for education. And boarding school is expensive.
Right.
So instead of charging tuition to maybe 5% of our students, we just decided, you know what? We're just a tuition-free school. We are pretty much like a public school that's boarding. But we're not a public school. We don't get any public funds for the program, but we are on all intensive purposes a school that will take in anybody who has the need, regardless of whether or not they can or can't afford it, just because it is the need for that student is really what's most paramount and most important to us.
Very good. How big is your student population now? How big would you like to get if you came to, or hey, this is phase one of the vision. We have our site and all that. How many people would you be serving?
350 is our max per school.
Okay.
And so I believe as it's playing out now, it's looking like we're going to have 2 campuses, one for girls and one for boys. There's logistics reasons to keep those things separate. We won't go into that today.
Yeah.
But we're looking at 350 girls and 350 boys down the line. And so, our school footprint in San Diego County would be about 700 students total.
Excellent. Well, that's really exciting. And you're engaged in communications or partnerships, let's say, with some foster care facilities. One of the challenges that we have in our community, and it's probably in a lot of them, where people age out. So you have a person who's going to become age 18. They're out of the system. They're kind of like, now what?
Yeah, I was just down talking to the San Diego Housing Authority yesterday, and we were discussing this issue of aging out, and we have a similar problem in our school, where what happens if we graduate a student and going home isn't the appropriate opportunity after graduation? What if that's the wrong step? For whatever reason, the home life has deteriorated or whatnot, and so building bridge programs that we're able to support that student beyond just saying, okay, thanks, congratulations, good luck, bye.
Yeah.
That's not life. That's not how life is. Not that clean and easy. And we're trying to collaborate with some of those programs that are working with the foster youth to try to figure out, how do we all share our data? How do we all share what's working and what's not working? We're hitting this, fragile population over here. You're hitting foster youth over here. You're hitting homeless over here. How can we all work together to say, how do we make a better system?
Well, this is a good thing for our community and for those that are coming into your school. We have less than a minute left, Jabez.
Man, it goes by fast.
Right, it does. How can people get a hold of you? What are your last words regarding what you're doing with Sisu Academy? Website, whatever people.
SisuAcademy.org, SISU, academy.org, or you can always look me up, Jabez LeBret, and find me online. I'd love to connect with folks. It doesn't matter what you're interested in, comments, thoughts, anything. We are a community project for the community. We want to hear from everybody.
Man, we need more of this. Well, you have quite a vision there, and it looks like you're delivering on it. You got a good plan. You're collaborative. And just putting all, I don't even want to call it parts, because I hear how you're thinking. It's very holistic and, in a sense, seamless. And I think that's not accidental. I think that's just the way that you're working. So glad to have you on our show. And maybe we'll check back again and see, how things go from where we are now.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Glad to have you on the show. I'm Jose Cruz. You've been listening to Literacy for All. We're on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com. Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.